Well, anyone who knows me knows that I'm a giggler and I like to laugh. And I'm lucky because I can find humor in almost anything. But I know not everyone is like that. And that's kind of unfortunate. Today we're going to be talking about laughter because laughter really is the best medicine. And these days we can really use some of that medicine. So if you want to know more about this, just stay tuned. Hey, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Scan FYI. My guest today is May Kaba. She's from Seabrook. So, good morning, Mary.
Good morning, and how are you today?
I'm doing great, and I appreciate having you with me today. Why don't you tell everyone a little bit about you and what is your role at Seabrook, and then we'll get into our conversation.
Great. Well, I work for this amazing company, Seabrook, which is a part of Erickson Senior Living. We're right here in Tinton Falls on a beautiful 98-acre campus. We have independent living, assisted living, skilled nursing, and rehab. And we have all kinds of wonderful people that live here and work here. So it's a great big community. And I have the pleasure of being the director of resident life, which really it encompasses departments that are anything resident facing. So we have philanthropy in this department where we do fundraising. We have a ministries team so we can touch the spiritual needs of all of the people on campus. We have fitness and wellness, well-being, an aquatic center, a TV studio, which I don't spend a lot of time in. So this could be a little nerve-wracking being interviewed on a show. And we have so much more.
Seabrook has it all. It's an
We have
absolutely
all.
beautiful community. And of course, all of Mary's info will be in the description if you want to reach out to her and if you want to know more about Seabrook. But Mary has another skill. Mary is a certified laughter therapist. And I'm telling you guys, we need more laughter,
We
especially
do.
these days. So first of all, what is a certified laughter therapist?
So, a laughter therapist is someone who helps people find the mirthful joy in situations in life that might not be that funny. So, it's not really joke telling, which I am terrible at. It's just finding a new approach and a new attitude, a way of looking at things. Andrea, let's face it, we live in a society where there's a lot of negativity out in the air. You turn on the
Yeah.
news, even TV shows, we're drawn to that because it's so prevalent. And finding a way to escape that, even within ourselves, to find the humorous side of things it takes some work for some people. Everyone's not a natural giggler like you are, but you can help people find that as well.
I know, I didn't know I was a natural giggler, because I just was this way. And I've realized as I got older that honestly, it is a gift to be able to see the lighter side.
Yes.
I've had my share of, bad stuff because hello, we all have. And you're right, just reading the news or watching the news, it's pretty scary stuff out there. But I just believe that you have to have that ability to find the humor to diffuse all this negativity.
Absolutely. And as you said, some things have happened to you, and we all come to a situation because we have our own experiences. And those experiences base our perceptions about things. And it's not always fun and games every day. There are things
Yeah.
that happen, and there are ways that we have to cope with that. It's a very personal experience. It's a very personal journey. And sometimes we just kind of have to step outside ourselves and look in as a stranger. This reminds me of the I Love Lucy episode where Lucy and Ethel are working at a candy factory and they have
Oh,
a conveyor belt of
classic,
chocolates and they
classic.
have to wrap them, and then it's going faster and they're trying to
Faster and
keep
fa
up and they're hiding it and they're stuffing it everywhere. And they did not look like they were having a happy time because they're in the situation and it's real. But for those of us who are watching in, it's hysterical. So I always like to bring myself and my clients back to that, to kind of just step outside the situation and look in as an observer and find a way to make it humorous in some way, find that humility. So it makes it a little
Sometimes
bit easier.
I guess if you want to go back to I love that particular episode, which of course I could watch it 100 times, and even though I know
Always
what's
helpful.
happening, I'm still laughing.
Right.
You have to I agree with you that sometimes while it's happening to you, no, it's not funny at all. But if you look at it tomorrow, or maybe it's even, several days later, and you look at it with fresh eyes, like you realize, oh my God, how crazy and funny is that?
Yeah. Yeah.
What is it that some people simply can't give themselves permission to poke fun at themselves? Like, I think some people think it's a failing or a weakness
Right.
to be able to laugh at themselves.
That certainly is true also. It's trying to find a way to like ourselves enough and give ourselves permission to just be silly. And it's okay to laugh at ourselves and find ways to help us turn a frown into a smile, because a smile is the precursor to laughing. So first you have to get that smile on your face. Maybe it's just wearing something bright that day, or drinking from a favorite mug, or just looking at something that might be silly, or making a silly face in the mirror when nobody's looking. Poke fun at yourself and like yourself for it. I think a lot of people work really hard at being serious and doing the right things in life and getting ahead, and they think they have to be this stoic person, and it's okay to find the humor in things. And it's not only okay, it's extremely healthy. It helps us reduce stress, and it helps with so many other different things. There are so many important techniques in laughing and in stress that can be done to help us get through the day. And that day turns into another day, and it turns into a lifetime. And why drag that stress around, and why drag that negativity around? Let's like ourselves enough to make fun and laugh.
So, I mean, okay, you watch a comedian, and for some people they're laughing, 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 and for some people they're watching the same comedian, let's say, and you know what? They don't even, they're like looking at you like, what are you laughing at? Like, what is it about some people that they simply they can't recognize the humor, or are they just not allowing themselves?
Sometimes we have trouble letting things go. We hang on to stuff, maybe even if it's negative stuff. It's a comfort because we know the unknown is scary for a lot of people. And there are people that stay in situations that are not healthy and not good for themselves, and they know it, but they don't know what's beyond that. If they let that go, they don't know what might come. So they keep what they have because it's a little bit of security. So that there's a lot of truth to what you're saying. It's just okay to let go, because then your arms are open and your hands are free to accept something better.
I guess when you're laughing, and you're maybe you're vulnerable in those moments. You're letting people see you in a different way, and maybe you feel like you're losing a little control over a situation.
You are a natural laughter therapist.
Oh,
So
thank
true.
you.
Yeah.
My
I
next
mean,
career.
th- these are the secrets to all of that, helping people realize that, when they like themselves, when they can let go, when they can be vulnerable, because they can't get to that next level or that next plateau unless they allow themselves to really look deep inside, and to have that vulnerability to, uncover what's in there. We all have some sense of humor, and it's all different for everyone. Is very personal. I think back at a time where I was watching a TV show, I think called America's Home Funny Home Videos, and the men in my family were hysterical at people riding into trees and falling over things and hurting themselves, and I was
Right.
thinking, oh my goodness, that's not funny. Like the mother in me came out, and it was like,
Yeah, yeah.
they could,
They could
really
get
injure
hurt.
themselves, but they were hysterical over it. And I I find a lot of things funny. I'm the middle child of eight, so a big family. And if you didn't have a sense of humor, you would not survive in a big family. But in those moments, I just didn't find any humor in that type of situation. So we're all different, you know. So helping people find what their sense of humor is, what they find humorous, and how to help them look at things in a humorous way, that mirthful, humorous way, even if it's not joke telling, but just like the I Love Lucy. It's pretty funny without even words coming out of their mouth.
No, you don't. That's I feel like for me, the funniest stuff is just like what a comedian I think would call observational humor, like
Mhm.
the everyday stuff, your family. Most of us have, the crazy things that happen within a family or dinner. And it's all in a way, it's just the normal stuff, but you can look at this and oh my God, it is crazy funny.
Right, right. I was just at a family function this weekend, a 7-year-old's birthday party. And my family has often said that we can be a reality TV show. And my brother decided the name of our show would be Deluxe Mixed Nuts.
Oh,
And
I
you know,
love it.
we're just naturally a funny group. And at this house there was a little doggy door, and I double dog dared my brother, my little brother, who is a grown man. He's 55 years old. I said, you know what, Jimmy, I bet you can fit through that doggy door. And he was like squeezing through it. But who normally does things like this? Probably not too many people, but it's just good fun, and it's okay. And if he were to get stuck, we'd figure out a way to get him out after we finished having a good laugh. So, but he got through and he came back in the same way. So very
So,
entertaining.
Mary, what do you want to say to people who just kind of they don't know how to do it. They don't even know how to start kind of in, seeing the lighter side. And, the world is dark now. I mean,
Yeah,
literally and figuratively. And
it's
I
so
I
true.
feel like what do we need to say to people to get them out of this shell and allow themselves to
Yeah.
just enjoy the humor or
So
find the
some techniques to finding humor is number one, you have to allow yourself and give yourself permission.
there
Just
you
give
go.
yourself that permission. Tell yourself, no matter what, it's okay. And if you're in a room alone, you don't have to worry about if people are laughing at you, even though that is the goal because you want to laugh. So it starts with giving yourself permission. And then you have to somehow get a smile on your face. Think about a happy time, a happy situation, someone you care about. Whatever it is, have a greeting card nearby that someone sent you that you can, read and look at and remind yourself of something fun. And then you need that smile because that's the precursor to laughter. Then you have to find value in the extremes. So it could be some situation. A lot of my career, I've worked with people with Alzheimer's disease, and there's that time where mom is spending time with her son, but her son looks a lot like her husband. In her mind, she's traveled back in time, so she
Right.
thinks the young man sitting next to her is her husband, and maybe makes some kind of advance or some inappropriate move. And for the son, it is not a funny time, but it is an extreme time. And if you can step out of that and look back and find a way to find that humorous when it's not a very humorous diagnosis, you're going to be on the right track. But it's not easy to do. You kind of have to train yourself. And it's also important to have a funny buddy. You don't have to do it alone.
That
Find
is so
someone who is
true.
going to help you. A nice giggler like you, Andrea, who can just give you that little push that you need. So get yourself a friend to share those times with. You also need to, at times, make it a game. How can you make something stressful or not fun more fun? At the end of the day, when I'm exhausted and I need to, run to the store for something, I make it a contest that I can get through Aldi and checked out in 15 minutes. So even though I'm slower moving and I'm getting older and everything is achy and painful, I make it a game so I can make it a little fun somehow and see if I can beat the clock with a daily chore. After that, and anytime, sometimes just watching a funny show or a funny movie can help you get in that smiling, funny mood and looking at the mirthful humor of things. So there's a couple different things. Reading little passages in Reader's Digest. There's some great little short, funny quirks, quips that you can just look at and help that humor start along. So, there's so many things, and there's support groups and counseling and different things like that to just help a person get through the humor. I think often when people live alone, they become more isolated and more
Right.
depressed and more sad. So, get out and be among people. Even if it's one person, that funny buddy or something. That's the beauty of communal living at a place like Seabrook. There's always someone around that you can chat with. Even if it's something sad, that someone is going to naturally want to help you get to a smile. So, all good tips and techniques for getting that smile, the precursor to laughing.
But I think it's interesting that, you do point out that there is a conscious choice here that I want to do this. I want to laugh.
Yeah,
Just like, for some people, they're so, they're so tightly wound and feel I cannot allow myself
yeah.
to.
You have
And
to change your perception. And
right.
exactly, you do have to give yourself permission. And it is a conscious choice. I call it an attitude of gratitude for your journey of joy. And you have to train yourself, if it doesn't happen naturally, to laugh and smile. It's really just that simple, that choice that you make. And we all have a choice. And why not choose happiness? It just makes you feel good. And there's other benefits to laughing and smile. It helps reduce stress. It helps lower your blood pressure. There's so many different health benefits. It even helps fight infection. So why not choose the happy humor side of things and be a healthier you?
I think for your mental health, we all need to laugh. I mean, I kind of feel that if you're not having some serious laughter at least once a day, you're missing out.
Yeah.
You're absolutely
Yeah.
missing out. And
So true.
I am lucky because well, I am that, that funny buddy that you're talking about, hang out with me, you're going to laugh. But I have, I work with Yvonne. Yvonne, if you're listening to this, I'm talking about you. And she and I, a look, a smile, a giggle, and you know what? We lose it. We lose it with explosive, crazy laughter.
So
And
you're the
people
two
look at
that,
us like, what's going on? But it feels so good to
yeah.
do that.
There's always that person if you're in a meeting or a serious situation that you should not be sitting next to.
Yeah,
And I mean, and
next to me.
sometimes there is that nervous laughter. You might be at a viewing or something sad and somebody's giggling and it's just their way of coping. It's their
Yes,
strategy.
yes.
It's almost sometimes like if I'm telling myself I have to choose my perception, I picture the Wizard of Oz and the Wicked Witch writing Dorothy in the sky, surrender Dorothy. And sometimes we have to surrender ourselves and just find that humor and say, what do I need to do to get out of this funk? I will tell my clients it's okay sometimes to visit the pity party, but you can't pack your bags and stay night after night after night. You could give
Right.
yourself some time to de-stress or to grieve or to whatever it is, but you can't stay there permanently. You have to make that choice to come on out and get back to living a happy, healthy life.
So I think the bottom line here is, well, I absolutely believe laughter is the best medicine, but I also
Mm,
believe it's best when it's shared.
absolutely.
It's so much more meaningful, to have those inside jokes and, whether it's your coworkers, your family, your friends. Listen, I am a believer. You gotta laugh. It's
Right.
good for your mental health too.
Absolutely.
You
And
gotta
it
laugh
also exercises your insides when you have a good, mirthful laugh. That good
till it
belly
almost
aching laugh.
hurts, right?
Mean you never see Santa sad and he's ho ho hoing all the time. So it's good to have that laugh, and it's even better when it is shared. You're absolutely right.
So if you're listening out there, make the choice to find the humor in, you know, I think it's important to find gratitude in the small things in life. I am a gratitude person, but I feel it's equally important to find the lighter side of life and the humor. I mean, I think that's how, for me, on a personal note, that has been what has kept me going through some of the dark times in my life, that I could see the humor. And it's okay. It's okay to laugh. It really is. It just feels good. And it's infectious. You know, when people see that you're laughing and you're enjoying themselves, everyone, well, what's the joke? What's going on? Share it, right?
Absolutely. It's so true. Sometimes if I'm even watching a conversation and I maybe not can't even hear what people are saying, but I see them joyful, I will notice that I'm sitting there with a big smile on my face as though I'm part of their conversation. But just seeing others happy makes you happy. So it's so true. Find that. Get out. You can't do that if you're sitting home alone.
That's right.
Part of finding humor. Get out and see people, watch people, and practice it. Make that choice and practice it.
Well, Mary, it's been really fun. It's been fun having you because you are the first certified laughter therapist that I've ever met. And I think that's a pretty good title. I really
Thank
do. I
thank
love it. I love that. So, again, all of Mary's info and Seabrook info is in the description if you want to know more about that. But Mary Kaba from Seabrook, thank you so much for being with me today.
Andrea, it has been such a pleasure, and I'm so glad that you would make a great laughter buddy for anyone. So I
I
hope
would.
everyone continues to tune in to all of your programs because I'm sure even if the topic is not about laughter being the best medicine, they're going to have a smile on their face.
You just have to. If you're going to be on Scan FYI, you better be prepared to smile or even giggle a little bit. It's totally okay.
Well, good.
Yeah.
Very nice. Thank you
So
again.
remember, remember out there, if it's important to you, it's important to us. I'm Andrea Tarr. We'll see you next time on Scan FYI. Bye, everyone, and bye, Mary.
Bye. Thank you so much.